Good day, everyone. Welcome back to Entitled People subreddit with stories about outrageous parenting and spoiled little brats. Without further ado, let's get orgasm with rKush. The first story of today's video was posted by Wildfire 1995, entitled Dad Nearly Gets His Daughter's Arm Torn to Ribbons. For background, this happened last year while I was volunteering at the local zoo. I was heading to the lynx enclosure to feed them when I heard some commotion coming from where the caracals and servos were. For an idea on how the layout of the enclosures was designed, the medium-sized white cats each have a fence and set of bars to separate them from the visitors with fences on the outside as a way to signal people to avoid getting into scratching distance of the cats. I went there to check and there was a man, entitled Dad, alongside a girl that looked to be around 5 to 6, who were both past the fence and the girl was sticking her arm inside the caracal enclosure. And one of the caracals was hissing and growling at them while the second one was sleeping on top of a cat tree-like structure that was built inside the enclosure. Me. Hey, miss, please remove your arm from the cage. Entitled Dad. Why? She just wants to pet the kitties. Me. Sir, these animals are white and they are not enjoying her presence. Entitled Dad. Well, she likes cats, so she enjoyed them anyway. Me. Look, these aren't domesticated house cats. They are wild cats and they are not used to humans. Miss, please step back now or you're going to get hurt. After I raised my voice, the girl snapped her arm back and looked at me crying. Entitled Dad. You will not threaten my daughter. Me. I'm not threatening her. I'm warning you that these cats are not suitable to be petted. Passerby. She's right, you idiot. You are endangering your child by letting her get this close with wild animals. Entitled Dad. I'm not endangering her. It's a cat. They like being pet. Passerby. It's a caracal. They look like cats, but they are a completely different animal. You wouldn't let your daughter pet a bobcat, would you? Entitled Dad. Of course not. But this isn't a bobcat. Passerby. It's like the same freaking thing, you idiot. There's a reason why these animals are behind cages and fences. Entitled Dad. F off. Daughter's name. You can pet that cat as much as you want. Don't listen to these Nazis. At this point, the girl looks way too shaken from the conflict and doesn't want to pet the caracals anymore. Thankfully, the man then stormed away with her while threatening to report me to my superiors, which he did. But thankfully, the zoo's siding with me, and then I resumed the feeding schedule while the servers looked at me in your typical cat judgmental way after thanking the man that helped me stand up to the entitled dad. I've dealt with plenty of entitled people while working at the zoo, but holy crap. Never thought I'd meet a Karen that gets pissed at me for not letting them touch a dangerous zoo animal. Guys, the entitled dad in the story obviously doesn't know the first thing about cats. They decide when it's petting time, not humans. So be careful, guys. Same goes for petting strangers' pets. Our next story of today's video was posted by Serene Stout. Entitled mother does nothing when her kid lets his dog poop all over my lawn. Gets a nasty surprise in her mailbox. The cast. Me. EM, entitled mother, EK, her demonic kid. This happened about a year and a half ago, before the whole COVID thing. I'd moved into a new home a few months ago, and one of the reasons I especially liked this home was because of its nice lot and close parks. Anyways, one day a few months after I moved in, I noticed that there was a piece of dog poop on my front lawn. I looked around and I didn't see anyone walking their dog. Quite a few of my neighbors had dogs, and I figured one of them had forgotten to pick up after their dog. I got a plastic bag and threw the poop in the trash, and I thought nothing of it. Imagine my surprise when, 2 days later, there was another dog poop on my lawn. This time, I saw entitled kid down the street, walking his dog. I wasn't sure it was him, and his mother seemed kinda nice, so I thought I'd see if it happened again. A few days later, I was about to leave the house when I saw entitled kid with his dog, dropping a steaming pile of poop onto my lawn. I took out my phone and recorded a video, and after I got back, I went to his house. Me. Hello, miss. I'm sorry if I'm interrupting something, but I was just wondering if we could talk about your son and his dog. Entitled mom. Of course. What's up? Me. I noticed entitled kid walking his dog outside my house, and I saw that his dog, pooped on my lawn, and entitled kid never picked it up. He carries bags when he walks his dog, and I appreciate it if you could ask him to pick up after his dog from now on. Entitled mom, switching into full entitlement mode. That's nonsense. My son would never do anything like that. Ask anyone. He's the most well-behaved child in this neighborhood. Me. I'm sorry, miss. I'm not saying your son is a bad child or anything. I just want him to pick up after his dog. I even have a video of him walking away after his dog pooped on my lawn. Entitled mom. Hmm, fine. I will talk to him. Now go away. She slammed the door in my face and I thought that that would be the end of things. Boy, was I wrong. I didn't see entitled kid walking his dog outside my house for a week or so after that. But around 10 days later, I saw another pile of poop on my lawn. I had enough now and I went back to entitled mom's house. Me. Miss, this is unacceptable. You said you talked to your son and now there's another pile of poop on my lawn. Entitled mom. That wasn't my son. He's an absolute angel. He said he'd never do it again and he didn't. Entitled kid came to the door. Entitled mom. Entitled kid, did your dog poop on this man's lawn again? Entitled kid, lying through his teeth. No, never. Entitled mom. That should be enough for you. Now don't come back again. I was having dinner at my new neighbor's house and the topic of entitled mom came up. My neighbor told me that pretty much everyone hated this lady, as she was always borrowing stuff and claiming she never took them, filling other people's trash cans instead of paying for a special pickup. You get the idea. I finally broke when her dog pooped, not once, not twice, but 3 times on my lawn in the same day. I got an epic idea. This time, I used a plastic bag to pick up the poop, but instead of throwing it in the trash, I kept it out in my backyard. For the next week, I collected poop from the lawn like a scientist, begging everyone. I'm sure if someone saw me, they would have thought I was crazy. After a week, I had around 4 bags of entitled kid's dog poop in my backyard. On Friday night, I went over to her mailbox and caked it in her dog crap. I got the size, the top, the bottom. I completely covered the thing. The next day, I was treated to the sight of her husband hosing their mailbox off with a look of utter disgust on his face. After that, her kid mysteriously stopped walking his dog in front of my house. Guys, I guess the moral of the whole story is that if you want to fight a crappy attitude, fight it with literal crap. Our next Reddit post was from Texas Wolf 13. Entitled Mom asked my opinion, doesn't like the answer. The other day, I was at my local reptile and exotic pet store to pick up some things for my small zoo back at home. When I entered the store, a young man was walking around, clutching a snake to his chest. He seemed extremely upset and kept walking to the counter before quickly walking away, not saying anything. He appeared to be with 2 women, the girlfriend and her mother, I later found out, who seemed to pick at him every time he walked away from the counter. I thought the snake was ill and the young man seemed to almost be in tears. I looked to one of the employees, but they waved me off and pointed me over another employee, Alex, who was unloading their newest shipment of critters. Alex was super excited to show me some new cyanide turtles they had just gotten in. He and I got into a pretty heated debate about the amount of care needed for turtles in general. I stated pretty loudly that while they were fun to look at and play with, I didn't want another aquatic animal in my house, as they took a lot of specialty care that I was horrible with. I suck with pH level and testing and I admit it. It was then when the mother of the girlfriend came over and interrupted our conversation. I will name her Donna. Hello, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but can I ask you a personal question, hon? Donna smiled at me. Sure. I shrugged, looking at Alex confused. So, if I'm hearing correctly, you don't like turtles, right? So what would you do if your boyfriend decided to go out and buy a turtle and just take it home? Donna waved her daughter and the boyfriend over. Now, I'm a blunt person and I wasn't sure where the conversation was going, but I had an idea. Looking between Donna and the upset boyfriend, I answered her question with a few of my own. Would I have to take care of it? That doesn't matter. Donna starts. It does. It's not like a dog that's a joint commitment. If I don't want to take care of a reptile and it belongs to my partner, I'm not forced to. Am I afraid of turtles? I continue. No, they're just disgusting. The daughter/girlfriend snarks. She's now Carrot. This is the wrong place for you to be shouting that kind of BS. I gesture around at the reptile owners, all of whom look a little insulted. I look at the boyfriend who's not paying attention. He's just staring at the snake and rubbing his chin. Finally able to get a good look at the snake, I'm a little shocked. This isn't like a baby or even a juvenile animal that's normally sold in stores or shows. This is a fully grown and very well taken care of California king snake. Staring at the boyfriend a little more intently now, I notice an eerily similar snake tattoo on his arm with the name Tusker written under it. This is not new ink, this is old. Sweetheart, I call gently to the boyfriend. How old is Tusker? The boyfriend finally makes eye contact. He's 10. My dad bought him for my 13th birthday. The boyfriend raps out. Seeing I ask why he brought his baby here, he proceeds to tell me that his girlfriend of a year wants to move in with him but told him he needed to get rid of his snake. He didn't want to, but Donna insisted he was being selfish not getting rid of his baby for Karen's comfort. Why does any of this matter? It's just a stupid snake and you're supposed to love me. Karen squeezes and stomps her foot. It matters, and your mom thinks it matters since she lied about the circumstances to try and get the answer she wants. Honestly, you say if he loves you, he'll do this. Why isn't it if you love him, you get over yourself and try and find a balance? If you had a dog or a cat for that length of time, would you be trying to get rid of it? I snarl at her. Donna steps in. But it's not. It's a snake. You're right, which means instead of it being a few more years of joy and companionship from them, he will have Tusker for another 13 to 20 years. Given this conversation, I'm not confident that you'll still be in his life for that long. Karen looked like I had slapped her child. You asked my opinion, I am telling it to you. I dumped you long before I got rid of my babies. You came into a reptile store and expected a different answer, which is beyond stupid. Even if the ladies or gents here agreed with you, they lost the word since their partners are here shopping for those pets. The boyfriend seemed to get taller as he finally stood up straight. She's right, I'm not leaving Tusker here. I'm taking him home and you can either come with me or stay here, he rasped. I'm not going anywhere with that monster, Karen screamed. The boyfriend turned around and walked out. He got into his car and left the two women there. He had driven them there, which took a second for them to realize. Funny when they did. Funnier still, when Alex felt the need to point out, I'm not her boyfriend, I'm gay. Good job, Alex. Thanks for the help. Another story with a happy ending. I'm so glad Tusker has someone who cares for him. Snakes are beautiful creatures and he deserves to be in a proper home for the rest of his long life. Especially when I'm sure he's special not just as a pet, but also because he was given as a gift by his dad. Our final story of today's video was posted by Sarahs2609. Stop! My daughter is not cooked yet. TLDR. I saw a kid in a hot car and told my mom, the kid's safe, the security guard's a badass, idiotic dad certainly in prison. The parent here is more idiotic than entitled, but just his first sentence in the story makes him relevant for here, in my opinion. This happened a few years ago, in the parking lot of a mall I was going to with my mom, mid-July, nearly 39 degrees Celsius. When we get out of the car, I saw a movement at the corner of my eyes in the car behind us. I thought it was a dog at first, and I said to my mom, what a-hole leaves a dog inside the car when it's so hot? When I looked again, I saw that it was a baby, a 1-year-old girl, sitting at the back. I alarmed my mom, but she thought that I was kidding. I was messing around and telling crappy jokes for the last 30 minutes ride, and I was the kind to make some dog humor jokes like that. When she didn't believe me, I bolted inside the mall, saw a security guard, and informed him, with the number plate I memorized. He made a call through the speakers, saying, if you're not at your car in 2 minutes, say goodbye to your passenger door. I led him to the car, my mom following us, dumbfounded by this being true, and also infuriated. The security stops her from smashing the conductor window right there, waving at the girl who seemed conscious through the tainted windows. A man arrived, yelling murder when he saw us. Idiotic dad. Stop! Stop! That's my car! There's my daughter inside! Security guard. Yes, you moron! There's your daughter inside! Open the doors now! He unlocked the car, and at the security guard request, took the baby outside. The car was an oven. She was soaking wet, covered with sweat, and started crying the moment she felt the relatively fresh air outside. The security guard guided us inside and gave us a cup of room temperature water to drink for the baby. When he got the cup of water in his hands, while the security guard explained to the cashier what was happening, the idiotic dad dared to drink at it first. My mom exploded, screaming at him to give it to his daughter. In such colorful language, I have to this day no idea of how to translate it. He didn't seem to understand what was happening. He tried to go back to his half-full cart when the girl had finished her cup. The security guard stopped him just by putting a hand on his shoulder. Security guard, an idiotic dad complied at every single word. Stay right there. My colleague will take your baby, okay? There, sit down. We're waiting for the police and for the ambulance to arrive. Stay calm. Breathe. The daughter is okay, but we have to make sure of what happened, okay? Okay. Entitled dad, after 2 minutes, to the cashier who was holding his daughter and giving her water non-stop. Maybe give her another cup of water. It's hot. Security guard, raising his voice. I straightened my back hearing him, like when your dad yells at your brother and you just wants to make sure you don't draw his attention. Dude, shut the F up. The police are on the way. Idiotic dad complied again. And we just left. We were just standing there, low-key hoping to see security guard kick idiotic dad's butt. And we were useless for the most part. So I gave my info to the security guard and we went on our merry way. When we exited the mall, after half an hour, the guy was gone, the daughter was gone, the car was still there, and the security guard waved us goodbye with a big smile. We just assumed everything had gone well. I received a phone call 2 days later from the police, told and confirmed what happened, and learned that idiotic dad was facing a fine, years of prison, and had already lost the custody of his child. Thinking of that day is how I managed to be proud of myself every once in a while. Also, since people are asking, here's what my mom screamed at idiotic dad when he began to drink the water. You want me to shove that glass up to your butt? Or are you going to give your daughter a drink? Effing a-hole. I break your knees and shove you in the car until you sweat blood and see how you like it. Guys, gotta give credit where credit is due. Yes, the security guard was the one who handled the situation and put that idiot in his place. But if the person in this story hadn't noticed the baby and alerted the security guard of the situation, then it probably would have ended very badly for that child. So this guy most definitely is a hero. I would also like to add that not only did he save the child from dying in a hot car because he was so insistent, he helped her get away from a negligent parent as well. Great job. And that brings me to the end of our video today. Hope you reach your eargasm with rKush. Good day everyone.